Hello everyone! Last time I have told you about Formalist Stylistics, and today I want to explain about Formalist Stylistics. But before, I want to introduce myself. My name is Grace Shekinah and my student's ID number is 1707050333. The first that we have to know about the Formalist Stylistics is the Formalist tradition developed in Russian literary criticism in the late 19th century and beginning of the 20th, especially in the work of the Moscow linguistic circle. Russian formalism and American neo-criticism can be considered as two facets of the same coin. Both approaches emphasize the analysis of text through close readings. Moreover, they rejected the author's biography and highlighted instead the literariness of the text. In this video, I will explain the poem from Emily Dickinson entitled Because I Could Not Stop for That and Formalist Stylistics. This poem was published in 1890. Because I Could Not Stop for That is one of Emily Dickinson's longest and most fascinating poems. The title comes from the first line, but in her own lifetime it didn't have a title. Her poems were drafted without a title and only numbered when published after she died in 1886. This is a six-stanza poem with a full rhyme and slant rhyme, and in typical Emily Dickinson fashion is full of dashes between and at the end of lines. Her subject choice, death, is dealt with in an odd imaginative way. The poet takes the reader on a mysterious journey through time and on unto a world beyond time. So, the obvious theme of the poem is death, specifically a personal encounter with the character Death, who smells and drives a carriage. Emily Dickinson and the subject of death. Emily Dickinson wrote several poems about death, a subject she had a particular talent for exploring. In this poem, death becomes a carriage and a driver, or a driver and carriage, metaphor or personification, and arrives in taxification to take the speaker on supernatural journey beyond the grave. The most striking feature of this poem is the use of the dash to temporarily pause a sentence or clause, where the reader takes a fleeting breath before continuing. This tends to isolate a phrase in a manner different to say, a comma or a colon is used frequently by Emily Dickinson in most of her poems. There is a regular 4-beat or 3-beat rhythm in each quatrain which helps reinforce the idea of a steady drive in a horse-drawn carriage. The rhyme scheme is ABCD, each second line being full or slant with the fourth line. Me, immortality. Away, civility. Ground. Day, eternity. One example of metaphor can be found in the first stanza with respect to the carriage. A simile can be found in the second to last stanza in which she describes the house they stop at as seamed, a swelling of the ground, meaning a house that looks like swollen ground, kind of like a mound, more specifically a burial mound. Hence, by using the verb seamed, she is comparing the house to a burial mound. Figurative language is one of the literary elements that Dickinson uses to help convey hidden messages to the reader. Alliteration is used several times throughout the poem. An example of alliteration occurs in lines 9 through 12. We pass the school where children droop, at recess in the rain. We pass the fields of gazing grain. We pass the setting sun. Alliteration is used 4 times in the third quatrain alone. Bettina Knapp states that the alliteration depicts a continuity of sense, thereby emphasizing the notion of never-endingness. Another type of figurative language that is used repetition. The first instance of repetition occurs in lines 9, 11, and 12 as she writes, we pass 3 times. The speaker in the poem is passing through everything that she has already lived through, thus giving the reader a sense of life going by. Another instance of repetition occurs in the fourth stanza. Dickinson repeats the word ground in lines 18 and 20 to help remind the reader that she is describing a grave, not a house. Dickinson's imagery and effective use of the basic elements of poetry has produced a poem with several different meanings. her conception of that and how she portrays in it because exposes the reader's mind to a variety of ideas about that. Surely, after reading the poem, the reader could never feel that in a singular way again. Poetry at its best leaves the reader with new idea about the topic at hand. As a result of the writing of the poets of the 19th century, readers are given many different ways of regarding various aspects of life. Okay, that's all for my presentations today. Hope we can more enjoy and more understand about Formalist Stylistics. And thank you for watching my video. Thank you for the attention. See you next time. Stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.